do some mic checks while we're waiting for your cameras. I guess I could pull up the notes, even though it's not showing. I guess I do need them technically. Yeah, I hear Doug Zug. He was playing some Scum. He went back to Scum, I believe. Oh, oh, you gotta. I'm putting you on mute, by the way. I see your camera's going. We're transitioning to live here. I think
Gotcha.
maybe that's how this button works. I think we're live now. Live, visually live. As no.
We are visually live.
What? What in the
What?
heck is this? Is this list from Dragoon Kane?
I don't know. We're gonna talk about it.
Oh my goodness.
Are you talking to Kimonjilis? No. I don't know what you're
No,
talking. Give me the number. Give me the number.
the second seed, like second place.
Oh.
Sorry.
Oh yeah. I think it. I don't think it's full salad, but I think there's a repeat.
There's two ties. Yeah.
Yeah, there's two ties, but yeah, it's just like best of the best. Efficiency. It's the name of the game.
And
Smart.
then Joel went back to a classic Andreas worm. Oh, love that.
Right. Well, like I said,
Oh, and then there's the Kima Gilas. Oh my goodness.
We'll talk all about it. We'll talk all about it.
What is happening?
Give me a nickname. Ryan.
Oh yeah, I didn't
Ryan.
think.
The Detroit Lion. So I'm gonna put in there. About 2 seconds.
You're not from Detroit.
What?
I'm from the Detroit area.
Oh, you are? Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I mean, if there's any major city he's representing, I believe it would be Detroit. So
Yeah, I'm like 25 minutes north of Detroit.
we're all the Midwest. We're all just Midwesterners to James here. From Omaha to Cincinnati. Just, Midwesterners, whatever.
You're all from Chicago to me.
You buy a lake, buy a Chicago.
By Chicago Lake. That's the name of the lake over there, too. Chicago Lake.
Chicago lake. Alright. All of our lights on, by the way. Everything reading good before we do an official start here. I think so.
Do you know which pilots we have or have not already previewed?
Only the ones in the articles, because we've only been reading articles. So.
Okay.
Yep. So there's 4 from each faction that were not in the article.
Okay, cool.
Wow. Oh, I guess it's only 12. I was like 28 pilots. Only 3 factions, not all 7.
Yeah. And I'm pretty sure I kind of recall exactly which ones they are from each set. Like in first order, it was Longshot, Midnight, Theta 4, the Barrage Rocket SF, and Petty Officer Thanison, the Upsilon.
Okay. Well, like I said,
Resistance,
you'll have to cross-reference it. But there's only 4.
It was Tubbs, Ronith, ZZ, and Venny Star Fortress.
Yeah.
And for Scum, it was Boba, Han, Dengar, and Fenrau.
I'm getting a list of them so I don't forget. Benny Tally? Benny. Say one more time. Let's get our notes in order here. What'd you say the new Resistance ones were? The ones we did.
Oh, are you noting all these down? Yeah, it's probably a good idea.
Yeah, just so I'm not second guessing it later on.
Shot, Midnight, 84, Sir,
Perfect.
Easy, Ronith, Jacobs, Tubbs. Yeah, cool. That should be all updated for you then.
Fantastic. Well, I gave Marcel an extra 15, but he'll jump in. If he can tonight. So, either way, let's run. Wait, unless I'm missing something. Stop me before I run the intro. Everything.
Somebody stop me.
Everything looked good.
Yeah, everything looks good on the stream.
Use Chewy to use. What is happening? What's happening with you? Is that banana commission?
Yeah, you got no backbone. That's what it is.
I got no backbone. Oh, I was leaning up against something else. Alright, that makes sense that way. I can block the light. He's just kind of in the background cheer. Alright, let's run the intro. This is episode 382 of the Gold Squadron podcast. I'm one of your hosts, Will. I roll 2 crits, Hegwood. You know, I'm rolling them in time of peace and 2 in time of war. Tonight, I'm joined by Orion. I have you now, Stanzuski.
Yes, Vader, the ultimate pilot of the dark side.
Representing. And James, never. Tell me the odds. Ritter.
We just had the NHL lottery draft, and at 1.5%, Utah managed to win. So,
you serious?
yeah, what 1.5%?
Didn't the Sharks had like the highest percentage? Where did they end?
Yeah,
up?
they had like 38%. They did not win. They're still like second pick overall.
Okay,
but
I was gonna say they're in the top 3. I was gonna say like the Pistons
Yeah.
in basketball a couple years back were like the top percentage for like 2 years in a row and got like 4th or 5th each time.
Yeah.
Like not even top 3. It was terrible.
Yeah.
Anyway, sports tangent.
Yeah, sports tangent. But yeah, moved up 10 spots because we could only move up 10 spots. We moved from 14th to 4th, which is pretty big deal.
Pretty big deal.
So pretty excited.
When's the next season start? Didn't they
I think
just
like
end?
preseason starts in this playoffs right now.
Yeah, playoffs
So-
are still going on.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
They're down to the final 8 teams, 4 matchups. Is that correct?
Yes. Yep. Yeah, they're in the round 2 right now. So the round 2 starts tonight, actually.
Oh, okay. Well, that was the sports minute. Brought to you by our GSP patrons.
The segue is real. Right?
You know those patrons. They're our largest group of supporters. They're what keeps everything moving here at GSP. You can go to patreon.com/goldsquadron. Check out shareable art from our past projects. We can get you in to exclusive channels on our Discord and support us making these podcasts streaming events, things like that. So check out patreon.com/Gold Squadron. All right, so tonight on this Revenge of the 5th evening, happy May the 4th to everybody. I didn't even realize it until like halfway through yesterday. But
Yeah, did anyone do anything fun for May the 4th?
I played X-Wing, but no, I did not.
You did play X-Wing. Wow.
I did play X-Wing, obviously. But
I
no,
watched the Tales of the Underworld that came out yesterday.
Yeah, it's on my list. We're in the middle of Andor right now.
Gotcha. Yeah, I'm caught up on Andor. I also so this whole past weekend is the first time we got to have Ollie stay the weekend with the grandparents. So
Oh wow.
Whoa.
yeah,
that is really exciting. What'd you
yeah.
guys
So
do?
like me and
Wow.
so like we went to a food hall place in Detroit called Detroit Shipping Company, which was kind of like the food hall place from Milwaukee, if you remember that 3rd Street or whatever it was called, but smaller. And then we caught up and finished the Cobra Kai series on Netflix. Like we were like a couple episodes into season 6, so that's done. And then we went to a new breakfast place Sunday morning, saw Thunderbolts, came back home, watched Tales of Underworld. We just caught up on a lot of TV at normal volume because anytime we want to watch TV, it's like when Ollie's sleeping, so we have to like turn it way down, turn on subtitles. So yeah, just kind of chilled and enjoyed. And Ollie did, Ollie did fine at the grandparents apparently. So I mean, we're actually this is trying to prep him because me and Sarah are going to Hawaii in early October for a friend's wedding celebration for a week. So we want to like get Ollie used to staying over at Grandma and Grandpa's a couple days at a time leading up to October. So it's not like just out of the blue nowhere. All right, mommy and daddy are gone for a week. Bye. Like,
yeah, I think we all three of us saw Thunderbolts this weekend. Then.
Oh yeah.
That's how I saw it as well.
I had to see it. Just went offline on Friday to catch no spoilers.
Yeah.
You're not gonna get any spoilers here. I'm sure you could go anywhere else on the internet and get spoilers, but we'll try to keep it spoiler free. I watch all those Disney Plus shows, and if the only thing I would say, my non-spoiler review is they could have called this Black Widow 2, but I'm glad they didn't.
Yeah, well, they're already calling it something else. If you're keeping up with social
I didn't.
media.
I was surprised that they went that quickly with that. I'm like, well, guys, like we're not even past the first week, and you're already changing your advertisement for it. That's like, no, I wouldn't have done. People are going to yell at you for that.
I don't know if you saw that, Will.
Well, don't tell him because he's going to look.
I'm not going to say anything, but
I've seen the hype around the movie. If you are watching the hype, everyone's seen it. Yeah.
Well,
hard to get away from.
I was surprised as well. I was like, yeah, give it 2 weeks or a week, right?
At least a week, right?
No. I think people, myself included, like the movie. It's dark when it needs to be. It's funny when it needs to be. I was laughing and crying, and ready for the kicky punchy. So, I don't know. I've seen the Falcon and the Winter Soldier.
Yeah.
I've watched Quantumania. I've seen Black Widow, right, which is like the 3 main watches you have to do as prerequisite.
There's a little more than that, but sure, yeah.
I would say also the TV show with what was it, Hawkeye show?
That's what I just said, Falcon and Winter Soldier.
Yeah, Captain America, Winter Soldier, or Falcon, Winter Soldier. Yeah, he said that. But also, it's like probably worth seeing.
No. The Hawkeye.
For a little bit of Yelena. Yeah, but most of that's in the Black Widow movie anyways.
Okay, that's
and
true.
Red Guardian and Taskmaster. So
you'd want to see the second Ant-Man as well.
I don't think.
Yeah, I said Quantumania.
Because honestly,
no, Quantumania is the third one. Second, Ant-Man and Wasp.
That's my only complaint. Is I was hoping for more Ghost.
I think she was still pretty good.
I was hoping for more Taskmaster, but that's just me.
No.
Yeah, I think we're going.
just highlights,
Yeah.
Elena, which is probably a smart move. Follow her. Follow the most likable character through the whole movie, please.
Yeah. Yeah.
She's the
especially-
most developed anyway, yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean, I will
It's-
say that movie brought out a much wider range of emotions than I expected.
Yeah, I do love that the direction that the new Marvel stuff is going, where it's like the big bad is not just like he kills everybody kind of thing, and it's a little bit deeper than that. So
I mean, they've done that well since like Thanos, right? Like, yes, he
Yeah.
killed everyone, but like he had like a weirdly set up reason that wasn't just I want to kill people just to kill them, right? Like,
yeah,
There's
it's like when
actually,
you thought
like-
about it, it's like, man, like
he kind of makes a
I
point, but
kinda-
this is terrible, right?
Yeah, I feel bad about it, but like maybe he's a little bit onto something, but
Right.
Speaking of shows, I think it was Psych, but someone asked about Andor. I have
Yeah.
only seen the sizzle reels for season 2, and I don't even remember most of the end of season 1.
I feel like season 1
it's
was
like
like
set
2
up-
full seasons.
set
Yeah.
up set up prison, and then question mark question mark question mark. You know what I mean? I don't. It all the end of it kind of all blurred together. So I'm trying to go back and rewatch. I got to rewatch at least the second half of the first season before I can even start the second one.
Sure.
Yeah,
I don't
we
think
watched
it's all
like
the way
a-
out though.
like a-
I'm kind of waiting for it to all drop at once.
They've been dropping
You got two more weeks.
Correct me if I'm wrong, Ryan. Have they been dropping 3 episodes per week?
Yeah. Yep.
Yes, 3 episodes per week.
Okay,
For
because I
4
checked it and I was
weeks.
like, what week is it? Because there's like 6 episodes, and I feel like we started just
What?
last week.
What year is it?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, they're doing like
So,
the
yeah.
3. It's the
Arcs.
same thing. Yeah,
Yeah.
they're doing it one arc at a time, more
Yeah.
or less. And I don't
Yeah.
know why they're trying to speed it up. There's something else that's coming out
So I do think
that they're
that
trying to end it before.
I don't know if it's like it does benefit the whole speed up thing if like they have something else coming up soon, but I do think Gilroy and the creators really made this that like how it's paced is meant to be viewed in chunks, right?
Yeah.
Because if and you see it a little bit in the first season of Andor, but some of the episodes are kind of slow, but they're building to the conclusion of that arc of whatever it is, whether it's 3 episodes or not. So I think seeing them in their designed arc setup is perfectly fine with me.
I think when we had like a break in like season 1 where we were like on vacation or something in the middle of it, and we like came back and like after like an exposition episode, and it was just like, yeah, I understand like what's going on, but like I just feel like I'm like stutter stepping a little bit, like where it's like you're stepping on the clutch and it's messing with the gas a little bit. So yeah, I would definitely recommend doing it in chunks if you can.
Yeah.
That makes sense. Yeah, there's probably not like a clear cut arc beat, right? Like where you kind of more like your sitcom, right? You shouldn't expect like everything to wrap up and go back to square one at the end of the episode, right? It is supposed to be a long form narrative. So
Yeah.
Oh,
I guess
makes
since season 1 of Andor had the three episode chunk to start, and then I think did mostly episode by episode the rest of the way. I don't know if the first season is also like 3 episode arcs all the time, or if there's some that are like 2 or 4.
sure.
But
It-
clearly, this season 2 is 4 3 episode arcs.
They're letting you know. It seems like to watch them 3 at a time, but almost
Oh,
hour
yeah,
long episodes.
we are spoiler free here for anyone who's
Well,
in the
I haven't
chat.
seen
We're
it, so it's gonna be
spoiler
hard for
free.
me to spoil it.
Yeah, like we Will hasn't seen it, so we are not talking any spoilers for season 2.
Yeah.
So you're safe.
So I'll kind of cap the conversation on Andor a little bit here with as a design team perspective, Ryan. Is there anything that you guys are looking at the and not just Andor, but like any of the other content that has been released since our last X-Wing release that you guys are excited to look at?
I mean, anything that we see that's new and cool, just all like when it will hit the whiteboard and make it into the process of development. That's a great question that I do not have the answer for.
Sure.
A solid
Well,
maybe.
Yeah, everything you can label everything under maybe, and that's completely fine.
Yeah. Yeah, you're playing really cool here. If it's cool, it's on the whiteboard kind of thing.
I think probably. If it's cool
Yeah.
and it's not redundant, hasn't been done a ton of times before, or does it, or like
Yeah.
isn't something that completely works fine as is right now and doesn't need a complete redesign, or I don't know. Like technically everything is under maybe.
Yeah, it was like the Mando TIE Fighter. It was like that probably doesn't need a whole redesign kind of thing.
Probably not. I mean, like, could we hit the Mando flappy wing TIE fighter eventually? Maybe. Is that high on the list? In my brain, no. In others, maybe. That's why it's a collaborative process. So
Yeah, I want to see
I do know what we have on the immediate whiteboard that has moved off the whiteboard into working things right now.
on a boat.
It would no in the factory.
Oh, okay, in the factory. Okay, well
Yeah.
that is exciting to hear.
Yeah, there are in the factory things happening already now.
Are they snow speeders and AT-ATs?
Oh, that's a good
Uh,
question.
I can't say yes or no, but I
Okay,
think that'd
you
be
heard it
cool.
here. He hesitated.
Yeah, they just came out with a Memoir 44 of Hoth
Look,
version.
My philosophy has always been, well, if TIE strikers can be a ship in X-wing, so can snow speeders, right? Like theoretically, they're
Yeah.
both meant to be air-based ships.
I mean, is there? I guess I would flip the opposite question. Is there anything in X-wing that couldn't fly, like on a planet in atmosphere?
No, I don't think so.
Yeah, because like Star Wars space, it is what do they call it? It's like the
Milky
liquid space, milky space. So like it behaves like atmosphere.
Sure. Well, I mean, the World War II planes. Yeah, I understand. Like,
Yeah.
that's
So
the
like
whole
yeah,
bit.
they have to roll the turn because like doesn't make any sense in space, but
Look,
it makes sense in Star Wars space.
if you think something doesn't make sense fighting in space, then you're playing on the wrong mat.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Well,
Go
I mean,
get another mat
to-
that's above the ground.
There you
Easy.
There
Solve.
you go. I mean, like to your point, these ships still need to fly in atmosphere. In theory, TIE fighters don't make any sense. They do make more sense in space than in atmosphere, but
Yeah,
they need like little rudders on the back. You know what I mean? I don't know.
I can just think about like the Mando TIE fighters just flapping as they go in the air.
that's how they lift off. They just jump up with their little wings. Yeah, something like that. Well, we could talk about what has come out. Now we've previewed a number of articles already, probably every single article for the XWA. They're doing great work over there, and we got some more to talk about. What are we starting with first? Pick a faction.
I don't know who that was directed to.
Somebody with a voice.
We'll let James pick it.
Yeah, we do FO. It's at the top of the list, I think.
Top of the list.
Oh, got a faux leave. Get it? Believe. Faux leave.
Faux leave. And what's our first? What's our first pilot out of there?
Is Long Shot that we have not already previewed.
Long Shot. Yeah, we're doing pretty casual discussion about them, just bringing them up. There was the Conquest series that we'll bring up and reference as well.
Add some context to some of these.
Yeah, a little context for them. Exactly.
Context to the Conquest.
There we go. We got that pulled up. I'll move this logo out of the way for you, but go ahead.
Long Shot. This is a 3-point ship, and it is like we said, evacuation of Dakar. Has the normal TIE FO stat line of 2 attack, 3 agility, 3 hull, 1 shield, and I believe the same ability. While you perform a primary attack at range 3, roll an additional attack die.
Yep.
But also has chassis ability. While you perform an attack, you may choose another friendly ship at range 0 to 1 of the defender. If you do, that ship gains a strain token, and you may re-roll a blank result. I think this is on some of the other ships that we've already previewed previously. Along with determination. While you perform a primary attack, If the defender is in your bullseye, you may suffer a damage to add a focused result, which works really well with Fanatical while you perform a primary attack. If you're not shielded, you may change a focus result to a hit. So, as per XWA rules officials, they have determined that Determination and Fanatical all work together. So, yeah, don't it all works. Don't worry about it. And then Longshot also has experimental scanners, allowing them to acquire locks beyond range 3, but they cannot acquire locks at range 1, which is the exact same wording and ability as the E-Wing. So just think E-Wing on Longshot,
Mhm.
which is very helpful being able to take locks outside of range 3 and be able to use that on the first engagement.
Turns out, Longshot really becomes a sniper especially if you somehow land in the bullseye at range 3.
Yeah, we're talking.
Yeah, no, you get roll 4 dice at range 3.
Yeah.
Roll 3 dice, add an eyeball, convert automatically with Fanatical, plus have a lock and probably a focus.
Mm-hmm.
Just don't be there. Don't do it.
Don't do it. Yeah, very good.
Yeah, conditional 3 dice attacks, very conditional modifiers as well. Determination, fearless, fanatical. But I mean, that's 5 upgrades. That's just say roll your red dice better. I mean,
Yeah.
what else are you looking for, right? Like,
yeah, that is true. You don't have to worry about any. Okay, but when I defend or when I move, it's just when you're rolling your attack dice, check this and see if you get anything better.
Read the card when you shoot.
Longshot just says you're here to snipe. Snipe good.
Yeah. Roll in slow, stay on the outside.
Yeah, pretty good. I mean, that's the job he needs to do. Because, if you're in any other situation, you're just going to be a regular TIE fighter with Fanatical, right? Which won't do very well. If that's all you got at Initiative 3. Still, though, I mean, you tell me 5 offensive modifiers for 3 points. I think we could find a way to squeeze them in.
Yeah, so especially at that 3-point mark where most of the first order likes to live is 3 points. So it's going to have a lot of competition, but if you like offensive modifiers, this may be the ship for you.
Right, yeah. Which obviously, you're not taking any defensive. Maybe you're focus token,
Yeah.
So
Maybe.
an interesting way to be compared to other 3-pointers. Who's next on our list here? Is it Midnight?
It is Midnight.
Okay. I read this one here. Midnight, same FO chassis, same stats as any other FO fighter. Has the same ability while you defend or perform an attack. If you lock on an enemy ship, that ship's dice can't be modified. So same pilot ability, that same merciless blank reroll for strain. Same determination as always. But this is where Midnight gets to use that lock to help their friends with targeting synchronizer. Your friendlies at range 1 to 2 can ignore that lock requirement and for the target you have locked, which is very good. Seeing a lot of customizable Midnights taking advantage of their extra loadout and going targeting synchronizer. This one also brings advanced warning systems. After you are declared the defender of an attack, if a friendly ship at range 0 to 2 has a lock on the defender, you may perform a red evade action. Interesting. So if someone else is about to attack them, has those locks out, Midnight gets a defensive bonus, which is what they're going to need. This Midnight is still 4 points, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes.
We've seen the customizable version go up to 4 points, but it's got a huge loadout, like 15 to 20, something crazy. We're talking about just slapping shield on all these 4-point FOs.
It's a lot, yeah.
But so you're giving up a lot of that maybe defensive tech you could get for this extra determination and merciless But you do get also this red evade action, which is very, very cool. Though it's only going to work obviously once per round, and you had to set it up as well. But it just
Yeah,
says
in a
if a
way,
friendly
like,
ship, though. So it can't be your own, just to clarify.
yes, because it
Does
is
not
range
need to
a
be.
friendly, not another at 0 to 2. Yeah, so it absolutely works on Midnight themselves.
Yeah,
So,
self-sufficient. Don't actually need a friend to trigger this.
so theoretically, if you can keep advanced warning systems active every turn, you might get, you theoretically would get more out of the red evade every turn than a
Sure.
single shield upgrade,
Right. It'd only
right?
take the
Because if you
second
think about,
instance of this happening. The second evade you spent would make up the difference in the shield upgrade.
yeah, and then you have stuff like Merciless and Determination that when you would take the lock on one like the first engagement, you have multiple ways to maybe modify your dice in the coming turns without needing to spend less likely need to spend the lock with through Merciless,
True.
and then protect yourself with the warning system, and then help your friends out with targets. So there's a lot of like interplay, and you could still you could still find a custom Midnight that is better than this with what you're trying to build. But you just have to maximize what this one has to like make up the difference in a way. It does
Sure.
there are very specific things that other Midnight can't do, or doesn't have the access to. It doesn't have the access to Determination or Merciless or Advanced Warning System. Like Midnight can generate a 4-die range 1 shot by Determination, and you can't mod their dice back as long as Midnight keeps the lock. That's pretty dangerous.
Yeah. This one I will say, whereas Longshot's kind of just a different way to play that pilot. Well, maybe I'm not. Maybe I'm not explaining it right then. This is
like a very focused,
a different,
a
a
very
new
focused
way
different.
to use Midnight versus just like a Crackshot Predator shield upgrade, right? Where you can kind of help your friends. This is where the kind of SL is flourishing, that you can get kind of these unique upgrades onto Midnight to have that different play experience.
Yeah, like in this Midnight, you don't have to get Bullseye to give yourself a reroll without spending your lock. Merciless doesn't require a certain. You just need to be able to shoot the thing, and then have a friendly ship at range 0 to 1 of the defender. That's it. We know how easy it is to trigger stuff like Ruthless.
Right. Though, even I was struggling to really commit that they were that different, which I might be a reoccurring discussion here. But we'll look at the rest of them before we make a final determination. What are the other two that we missed out on? I forget now.
Theta 4, so onto the SFs.
Yes. Theta 4, next. We did see those. So we saw the Seeker Missile one. Theta 4, correct. Ryan, if you want to read, is the Initiative 4.
Yeah, we did make the SFs easier to remember. Theta 3 is I3, Theta 4 is I4. So, yay. So Theta 4 is the normal SF stat line. Has the slightly modified heavy weapon turret of the other SFs, where instead of us putting the whole action bar with all the linked rotates on it, we just made it so that all actions, no matter what is taken by the SF on these, can link into a white rotate or perform a rotate action after you perform. And it still has the must shoot missiles out of wherever the rotate arc is pointing. Its ability, though, while an enemy ship in your rotate arc performs an attack, you may spend 1 charge, which Theta 4 has 1 charge recurring 1 each turn. If you do, spend 1 charge from your missile upgrade and choose 2 attack dice. The attacker must reroll the dice. So that's kind of like a reverse saturation salvo, would normally that's used offensively, or offensively when you're shooting to affect their defensive dice. This is basically Theta 4 is using their barrage rockets, which is what is equipped on the ship, to launch missiles at them in a frantic attempt to make their shots worse, theoretically. So this one is good with barrage rockets. So it's 5 charges to spend, whether offensively by the normal barrage rocket usage and ability of the barrage rocket, and defensively with Theta Force abilities. You can burn through those barrage rockets really quick. It has determination, and it has pattern analyzer. So you still do red moves and have a focus to utilize barrage rocket attacks. You'll note that this SF does not have the updated first order ordnance tech like the other ones do, that allows you to reload and still shoot primary front arc attack and get that like calculate and like all that stuff, and linking the action bar of reload into lock like Lehuse and Theta 3 does. It may sound obvious saying it, but pointing out that if you could have reloaded those barrage rockets with Theta 4's ability and the barrage rockets just having 5 charges, it'd be really hard to punch through Theta 4 over a game, and it would feel like it would have, in a way, unlimited resources. So we had to limit the resources Theta 4 had to make sure that its ability and the barrage rockets shared the same pool of resources. So the player using Theta 4 had to make more difficult decisions on how offensive or defensive they wanted to be.
Yeah, it's interesting that this one doesn't have any gunner at all, because even on, I think all the other ones had gunners of some kind.
Yeah, they have those foots.
Nope. Loaded up with a double missile slot. Too much room.
Yeah. His gunner is shooting those.
It's shooting missiles.
Those
basically.
frantic missiles. Yeah. That this one's pretty cool. I liked how simple it is. It's just a guy out there. It's sort of like a little bit like what is that, Backdraft, where it's just you just go out there and shoot some barrage rockets for a little bit, and you get a little defensive bonus.
Yeah, and the whole thing, like the base package of like determination, yes, that's new, but it's on a lot of other FO stuff in this pack. We know barrage rockets, we know pattern analyzer, we know the SF as a chassis in general. The ability is what flavors this for sure.
Out of my albeit limited experience, this ship made the biggest impact. Always a threat with front or rear arc barrage rockets, plus that kind of defensiveness as well. Even if it's once per round, he's really good. You can, as you said, it is resource management. You can burn out in 3 turns, real easy, right?
Mm-hmm.
You shoot 3 times and use your ability twice. That's all your charges. So now you're.
That's without even considering wanting to use barrage rocket charges to help re-roll if you have them in bullseye, if you really need to push some damage.
Right. So they can easily, like I said, look at round 4 and have round 4 of combat and have no charges remaining for your pilot ability now, and kind of just be dead in the water, which I do like. I think this is the strongest representation of that in comparison, because I was flying him right next to Theta 3, which we talked about earlier. He's the passive sensor seeker. I don't think Theta 3 made any decisions. It's passive sensors. If I'm in an arc, take an evade until I run out of charges for them. Right?
Yeah. That one's just a consistent low initiative shooting, and if you want to stop it from getting its passive sensors to lock you, you have to ion or jam it somehow.
Mm-hmm.
Basically.
Pretty much.
I don't think if this was mentioned, Theta 4 is also 4 points. So every single SF in this pack is 4 points. Each of them.
Yeah. But yeah, Theta 4, very good. That sweet spot of initiative for a munition that's easy to shoot. Does miss out on the double attacks, the front back from the Special Forces gunner and obviously the 4 dice range ones. But can make up for that with a pattern analyzer and determination. So this Theta 4, so far to me has been a standout piece.
I
But
think the other interesting thing people will like not put together until they play it and realize the pattern analyzer does like people are like, oh, it's got a back arc and just fly past them, rotate and shoot. Um, you still uh to get the defensive ability active, you still need to have opponents' ships in arc. So there's definitely be situations where that 3 sloop to keep yourself chasing the opponent by also potentially shooting them or also threatening your ability to keep their modifiers low and their shots neutered. There's a lot of instances where you may want to actually flip your ship around so you can keep following or threatening to follow a ship that you want to reduce their offensive effectiveness.
true. I mean, it makes sense as well if like if you do like a 5 forward over somebody, focus rotate, try to shoot out the back, but then you might now have no more combat in front of you. You're gonna have to sloop around, but pattern analyzer gives you that rotate and obviously the focus you need for the barrage rockets. So it's really good. They have hard ones as well. Yeah, you can take advantage of with pattern analyzer. I think that's the only red move, so it's sloops and hards ones. But yeah, a little light on the defensive upgrades, but the fact that his defensive upgrade can help your team out instead of just him, I think is super valuable. Well, let's keep it moving here. We got 2 more. We talked about the hues, so we have Petty Officer Thanison. I don't know why my Google Docs
Yeah,
is showing.
is
I
this
thought
our
this clipped out. Sorry, I'm talking to myself.
is,
Go ahead.
is this our only Upsilon in the pack?
Yep,
I think
the
so.
one
Yeah,
and only.
yeah. Petty Officer Dennison. So, normal stat line for Upsilon. If you're need a quick reminder, it's 4 attack front arc, 1 agility, 6 hull, 6 shield. Dennison has 1 charge recurring. During the activation or engagement phase, after a ship in your front arc at range 0 to 2 gains a deplete or strain, you may spend a charge. Like I said, you have 1 recurring. If you do, that ship gains a stress. So the ability is a little bit different than the customizable version, and it does say during the activation or engagement. So there are some like weird timings for other depletes or strains. So mainly looking at stuff that you give your opponents, like what's the tie baron?
So specifically,
And
yeah,
there's a 6
Von Reg happens in
Von Reg.
systems. You
Yes.
can't. We had to work around that one because we don't want someone getting stressed before they could activate.
Yes, yeah. That we want to stay away from that because it's a real feels bad if you've ever been stressed during the system phase when you're not expecting to be
And you want
or
to dial a
stressed.
red maneuver, and
Yeah,
it's so bad.
Yeah, need
it's real
need
bad.
to do a red maneuver to stay on the board kind of situation. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So. Yeah, so during the activation or engagement, which is still a huge window, it also excludes the end phase, which I don't think a lot of people are taking depletes or strains during that phase, but should be a
Overtuned.
pretty good ability. Overtuned. Okay. Okay. Okay.
I think that's
But
the
yeah.
only other one I can think of. Well, off the top of my head, anyways.
Yeah.
Either way,
But a
they
pretty
gain. That's once per round as well. So you have to
once per
choose
turn. Yeah.
activation or engagement. Can't
Yep.
not one each.
Yeah. And it does not say if they are not strained or if they are not stressed. But you could double
Good
stress
point.
somebody with this as well. Cool. So very very cool ability. Same action bar as well. Has the all white actions of focus, lock, reinforce, coordinate, and jam. This one comes with General Hux, which I think is a little bit different. So while you perform a white coordinate action, if you choose a friendly TIFO or SF, you may treat that action as red. If you do, coordinate up to 2 additional friendly TIFO or SFs, and each ship you've coordinated must perform the same action, treating it as red. So I think the main difference here is they don't all have to be the same type of ship. So they don't
Right.
all have to be FOs or all
Right.
SFs, which I think is an amazing change because I feel like taking Hux just like shoehorned you into this weird list building restriction.
Yep. And it still
Um,
kind of does now, but it's so much more flexible to have the SFs and
yeah,
the FOs available.
yeah. I think it 100% makes so much sense here. So really good to see Hux. I love a good Hux list. So we'll see how that one turns out. I also have advanced sensors back from the dead. After you reveal your dial, you may perform one action. If you do, you cannot perform another action during your activation. And a new upgrade here in the tech slot, interference array with 2 charges. After you coordinate a ship, you may spend a charge. If you do, assign a jam token to an enemy ship at range 0 to 1 of the coordinated ship. So very similar to like Jamarisa, I think.
Jamarisa, yeah,
Uh,
exactly.
so very similar, like obviously different triggers on all that, but very cool ability being able to coordinate a friend. You could even be doing that with Hux and assigning a jam token to an enemy ship at range 0 to 1 of a friendly coordinated ship. So very
And
very cool
if you
ability.
wanted to, you could blow it all in one turn, right? If
Yeah.
2 of the ships you coordinate with Hawks are range 0 to 1 of enemies, interference array allows for each instance to like jam. So
So turn your 1 action
yeah.
into 5 actions.
4 or 5, yeah.
Yeah, well, plus 4 actions, yeah.
No,
Generating 4
no,
new
3.
actions.
Like I said,
Hawks can coordinate three
yeah, you
FOs or
turn your 1
SFs.
action into 3 coordinated actions and 2 jam actions.
2 jams.
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah.
The
That's
absolute super dunking support play.
Yeah, I'll put support with the asterisks there because this thing is still shooting 4 die attacks.
Right.
So
that is going to be tricky. I think that's as good as that sounds. This will be a little tricky to engineer because this is initiative 1, which, and you have to use advanced sensors. So it's essentially before like any of your ships move, you can coordinate everybody. But that also means you won't be able to move towards the enemy. Maybe if you get Revis out there, you can maybe coordinate Revis after they've moved. But I feel like you got to take advantage of the advanced sensors so that you can then clear your Hux stress to keep your dial open in case you do need to do a red stop or you bump into an enemy or something like that. Well,
Yeah,
I think you just have to keep using.
It's almost like
advanced
Vizier.
sensors.
It's almost like Vizier, where it wants to keep doing the Vizier action, ailerons, to stay unstressed. So it's a very similar kind of concept.
Unstressed. Yeah. So it's going to be a little slow lumbering around with like 2 banks, I think is their stress clear of choice. I don't think it's 1 banks. I think it's 2 banks.
Yeah, they have the TIE Phantom Bubble Lab blues, which is 1 straight, 2 straight, 2 banks.
Oof, yeah, 2 banks. So this thing is a lumbering around faster than you want it to be, actually. With those.
But luckily, you are
sensors.
Very unlikely to get like anyone moving before you because you not only have advanced sensors open to you, but you're I1. So you likely know the board state of where you would need to land or bump into to mitigate any issues.
Yeah. Especially with the advanced sensors, you don't mind bumping, into enemies or like, really even into friendlies because like you have a ton of health.
Got 12 health, yes.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, that's actually I think a benefit. One of the weird things about Hux was like, okay, well my Hux is I4 Stridon, so I'm going to coordinate my 2 other I4s who have already moved, and this I5 who hasn't moved yet, and now they're all going to get stressed. So it always became weird with like fighting initiatives, coordinating huxing people before or after they move. At least with Thanosyn, it's before everybody gets to move. So just keep dialing blue maneuvers and keep getting a bunch of extra actions.
Yeah, which is even better because being able to clear it and have an open dial, potentially an open dial, next turn is even better.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because you could, in theory, just pop a single coordinate or a reinforce and just stop, right? And just take a turn off from doing red actions.
Yeah.
Or 2 turns off, rather. doing red action.
We
So.
hadn't mentioned it yet, but I know you respond to Lambolo. But yeah, the Petty Officer Thason, this is a 6-point Upsilon
Oh.
SL.
What are they normally? What is this the cheapest one, or is that status?
There are others that are 6, but the 6 is the
there's a lot.
lowest.
Yeah, there's quite a few 6s in there.
Okay. I know Dormant's
Yeah,
was like
Captain
8 or
Cardinal,
9
Major
at one
Stride,
point.
and the regular Petty Officer Thaniston are all also 6. The only ones that
Okay.
are higher are Dormant's at 7, Tavson at 7, and the Starkiller base at 7. They all have
Okay.
a crazy amount of upgrade loadout.
Yeah, 7 points. Yeah, jeez. I would hope so. Okay. So that's a good perspective. Still, though, I mean, 6 points. 3-point ships. You take 4 of them with this Petty Officer Thanison or Kylo, and 3 FOs as well would work.
But what's funny is, like, we wanted to open up how many ships Hux could coordinate. We were kind of concerned about the bombers, and also because, like, we wanted to theme it for Evacuation Dakar.
Sure.
There were no FO bombers there.
Right.
Kylo was there to a degree in the Silencer, but in the movie, and by that time, like, Kylo wasn't listening to Hux at all. So
Yeah, there are a
but
few. Sure.
we did consider the idea of, like, Hux being able to, like, how Plo Koon is called out by name in Wolf on his ability with Wolfpack.
Okay.
We had considered that with this, but, like, thematically, it's just like Kylo wasn't listening to Hux at this point. Like, Hux didn't give a crap. They were kind of at odds with each other. And to us, this is Hux yelling at his FO subordinates to do better and go fight for the First Order. So any chance Hux yelling at Kylo is like 0.
All right. Cool. Very, very cool to see there. A unique twist on it. Seeing especially that interference array. Oof, those jams. The First Order specialty there. Do we have one last pilot? No, that was the 4th one.
That's all for First Order that we
right.
hadn't seen before.
Fantastic. Like I said, I got a chance to play them yesterday, so it was still fresh in my mind. I played against the Theta FF, or what's the Initiative 2? He was really mean. I did not like fighting him.
Oh, Zeta 5, the
Yeah.
super procket I2 FO. Yeah, he's awesome.
He drew a lot of aggro because I was like, all right, well, if anybody, we gotta take this guy out before he gets this. He got like one good attack where he used some of his tricks or whatever, and I was like, not gonna let you get another one of those. So he was scary out there, and then I was flying the SF Theta 4 and Theta 3. I was saying these guys before that I didn't think much of LaHughes. I still like in the list I put him in. I still like the customized LaHughes for a couple different reasons. Mainly, it's the ability. I like waiting. I like seeing the dice that LaHughes rolls before he steals the lock. Because I fly him with other I5s, so I want to see who needs the lock, like who has the shot, and then be able to kind of determine my attacks. Whereas this LaHughes is probably better with like lower initiatives, where he's just gonna steal the lock right away to shoot his missile.
Yeah, and well, because the regular custom LaHughes, his ability doesn't enable the use of secondary weapon like a missile, whereas this one can find it for you. And in a way,
I didn't put lock-based missiles on him. I put Procket and Special Forces Gunner. So,
yeah,
for that reason that you're saying. But this is better that you could like bump focus and then steal somebody else's lock to still shoot your double mounted concussion. So
yep. Yeah, long shot SL is like a great combo with this, or Omega 2 SL.
That's true.
Like both those lock grabbers.
Yeah. I didn't think about long shot in there. That's actually really good. I had Tabson. Or not Tabson. What's the 3-point guy? 3-point size shuttle.
Oh, Terex.
Okay, I had tyranny, and whatever the other thing I just said it on the tip of my tongue. Terex, yeah.
Yeah,
So the
Terrors.
um, but I could have. I guess I'll try it with Longshot and the customizable hues next time for those same kind of points. But yeah, I will
Yeah, you could have
say.
long shot, just like get it from far away,
Mhm.
hang back for a moment, do an objective thing, let Hughes take it for the first turn, then kind of like grab the lock again later after you're done doing it, like your objective thing in the first engagement or whatever.
Sure, sure. Oh no, we're just jousting. We're just neutral as jousting. Just make sure the first engagement's range 3. And I can get my lock at I5, but either way, I will say now going through the more, and I think we kind of see this in we're relating this back to the Windy City trial. Big shout out to 312 and their Conquest series. Go check out Nick on his Discord, on his Twitch channel, 312 Squadron, because they're doing a great Conquest online events, a Conquest series, culminating in a bigger event. Like, you can find out a bunch of information on it if you, like I said, search for the 312 Squadron. But anyways, the other weekend they did a first of their events, and unfortunately, it kind of proves uh, my thought process. What was that? It might be proving my thought process because we have to go all the way down to 29 out of almost 60. So we're hitting like the halfway mark ish before we see the first order squads. And I'm not even sure. Yes, and they are bringing the Jakars, of course, bringing Zeta 5 and Theta 4 are standouts for sure in there. But I think that's, while these are certainly different new ways to play pilots, I think it didn't give them something they were missing for the first order, which I feel like, they didn't get a new chassis, they didn't get something crazier than what they could have already been doing. They just get to do it in kind of a different way, and that's not like a necessarily a negative, but it, because I think the other factions got such variations in their play styles that it just kind of isolates First Order into this kind of stagnation, I guess. I don't know.
I would say that one of our main goals in the SLs for FO was to provide like a much angrier offensive based
Mm-hmm.
first order. You see that through determination, through
Sure.
merciless, just not even caring about whose lock you're stealing, what you're doing, where you put your body at risk. As long as the opponent gets defeated before you do, you will get there. That was
Mm-hmm.
kind of so. I do think it is providing a higher level of average offense for first order out of the SLs, but I get why you're saying in the effect of it doesn't really have a notably different angle of approach,
Sure.
if that makes sense.
Sure, and I brought up the placement of people playing First Order, and maybe that kind of skewed my thought process. But uh, even in like the, I guess, the excitement around the thing, these new ships, that because there's not something that's like instantly recognizable as like brand new, it might not get that kind of attention that the other factions are getting from the kind of the someone stepping in to try to see what is the craziest thing. I really like almost all of these SLs. They just end up in that kind of third place because the other ones are so varied. But not to say that they're not good. Speaking of those other though, we got to keep rolling here and move on to our next faction. Oh, you know what? I take that back. I did want to call out. I just had that pulled up. I did want to call out what people were flying. It looked like Sailor Joe V. Like I said, he was looking at Kylo, and from Evacuation, that big 3-force proton torpedo Kylo, very scary, uh, and brought the whole squad: Lahuse, Longshot, Omega 2, and Zeta 5. So all SLs for Sailor Joe. They all fit in there very well with their little combinations we were talking about. Look like Bazooka Joe, or no. Sorry, this is Ham Dongle. Dongal. I also brought the new Kylo Ren, but still brought old classics like Agent Terex and DT in the FO fighter. So still testing them out. I'm trying to see what else people are flying. Looks like Brody rules. Abandoned all of that and went automated snapshots. Very funny. That's a list you can run. In XWA, you can run non-limiteds. So we see some variety there, but like I said, mostly people just trying out the SLs without really an answer on the perfect list for them. So still some workshopping to be done to maybe find that perfect balance for these new pilots. On the other hand, though, for the evacuation of Dakar, we have Resistance. Now, we've seen a couple of these pilots already. James, what pilot have we not seen?
For Resistance, we have not seen the other bomber, the other Star Fortress, Vinny.
Ooh, let's go find him here in our list here. Remember, we are looking at xwing.life. They have all the resources for the XWA. You can get these beautiful SLs. You can see the articles, all that stuff. xwing.life. All right, so we got Vinny pulled up here, the MG100 Star Fortress.
Yeah, we previously already previewed Finch, but this is Vinny, and I'm pretty sure pretty similar ability here. And stat profile: 3 attack front, 2 bow tie turret, 1 agility, 9 hull, 3 shields. And while you defend, if the attacker's in a friendly's turret arc, you may change 1 focus result to an evade. I think that's pretty similar to his to
A little
Vinny's.
different.
Is it different? Okay, let's
It's
take a
still
look.
focus-based defense with the same trigger point, but normally it's while you defend if the attacker's in a friendly
It's
ship.
add.
Add one. So this one is change an eye. So this one has like a higher floor. Like you can affect like the more
Yeah.
shots incoming, the more you have a chance to like add to that defense.
Yeah,
Whereas the other one is
basically
like it
turns
could go
his
higher with the amount of green dice you can put together.
yeah, it basically turns his 1 agility into almost like a reinforced, like that, because that 1 agility is gonna hit, right?
As long as you
You're only
roll paint.
missing on, yeah, as long as you're rolling what is that, 3/4 evade, so that's pretty good. So that's actually a really good ability. Like, I know we don't see a reinforce on this action bar like we did with Finch. We have focus, lock, rotate into focus, which I do love that. That's a red focus for the linked action, and then a reload. But that is a very very good ability. You also have a modular bombing magazine, similar to Finch. When you drop a dice, you may set this template with its middle line aligned with the hash mark on the base in your left or right arc. So this is B-wing drops or side drops. We have perceptive, co-pilot with that normal text. After you perform a focus, get a focus token. And dedicated gunners, a new gunner slot or gunner upgrade. While you perform a primary attack, if the defender is in your turret arc, you may spend 1 focus token to roll 1 additional attack die. After you perform a primary attack, you may perform a bonus turret attack using a turret you did not already attack from this round. So the way that I'm seeing this is you perform a front arc 3-die attack to start off your attacks. And as long as they are in your turret arc, so normally you're probably going to have this is going to be a gunboat Star Fortress. You're going to have your bow tie front back, and the defender's in your bow tie. So you'll spend a focus token to roll 1 additional attack die. Now you're rolling 4 attack dice at your front arc. Then you can, if you want, you can spend a focus on that attack, or you can save your focus for after you perform a primary attack. You may form a bonus turret using a turret you do not already attack from this round. So you could then attack from the turret that's still aimed that way, and you can spend another focus then to bump that up to a 3-die attack. So you shoot 4 dice, then 3 dice, which is rivaling the double ion cannon from like a Ghost. So pretty
it's
crazy.
very similar to like a Ghost doing like double tap.
Ion cannon, yeah.
Ion cannon, exactly.
We also have proton bombs as the bombs of choice on this one. So this one is definitely like Finch was definitely I'm going to drop as many bombs. I'm going to go out in a blaze of glory. This is I am a gunboat. I will shoot, and then if you get behind me, I'll drop a proton bomb.
I'm going to shoot all the things. I've called it. It's the gun fortress.
Mm-hmm.
I don't disagree with you, Ryan, because I do love that you guys did 1 bomber Star Fortress and 1 gun platform Star Fortress, because I feel like we kind of see both aspects of that in The Last Jedi. We see it being like a B-17 flying fortress kind of bomber. But we also see the massive damage that it can do with that modular bombing magazine. So I do love that we see both aspects of it, but not all at the same time, because that's too much. It's too many upgrades. It's too good. So I like that you kind of split it out a little bit.
It's like if you try to do both bomb and gun, you had like 0 defense. Like you didn't get the reinforce that Finch has. You didn't get Venny's ability, right? Like you had to silo them a little, which is the SLs really help with that.
Yeah.
What was the points comparison on Vinny versus
6? Okay. They're both 6.
Both 6, yeah. And both of their customizables are 6 as well, which is not the cheapest. We do have some 5 points.
There are some 5 points.
Star Fortresses.
Cat,
Ben, and
the Rattler.
Yeah.
the Rattler. Yeah.
The Rattler.
Don't know if any of those 5s are bringing the amount of firepower or bombs that either Finch or Venny can. So.
I sure hope not. I sure hope not. But I do love this one. Like I think this one is super cool. I think they both live in a different space that, like I said, like you see you see both aspects of that, and I'm glad they're separate, not the same.
Yeah, I've definitely tried out Vinny in like Vinny plus 4 A-wings, just like all the mobile arcs possible, and Vinny ability on all the time as much as possible, and then just shooting all the guns.
So I was gonna ask you then, if you got some playtime, do you always spend the focus to get up to a 4 dice attack, like a 4 dice primary, 4 or 5, if they're range 1?
So when I've played Venny SL, I generally play Venny with Tally SL as well. And what I'll try and do is point the mobile arc front back to start and go into the first engagement, and Tally will coordinate me either a lock or coordinate someone else, and she'll shoot the tracer missile to get the lock for Venny. Mm-hmm. So Venny's first attack is a 4-die double modded attack, ideally.
Sure.
So I'll spend the focus on the first one.
Focus on the first.
Yeah. If you have
spend the focus on the first for lock focus is like 4-die shot, maybe 5-die if range 1. Don't be there. I promise you, don't be there.
Jeez, do not be there. Yeah.
Do not be there. And then I'll just like whatever mods I have left, I'll use towards the second attack.
Okay.
Generally, it's better. You got higher floor if you're left with 1 focus and you don't have a lock. That's all you have for the second shot. Generally better if you want to, if you need just general damage, like just you want to do damage, you're higher likely to do damage if you have a mod than adding a result you can't modify at all or anything.
Yeah,
But
I
if you
think
need
I think
if you need to be a high roller and you haven't used your focus on offense for the first one because you had to spend one to add the die, then you can try and throw 7 dice.
I feel like I would always try to get a third die if I could on the follow-up attack. Like if it's already range 1 and I'm already getting a third die, I might keep the focus for defense, but
so it is the math that a 2-die focus is more consistent to do
it's more consistent to get
a
1. That's for sure.
1 than a 3-die attack is.
Yeah. Well, I mean that's the thing. Like, yeah, if you need 1 hit to kill, a ship.
Also depends on what you're shooting at, right? What their
Yeah,
defensive
a 1
profile's
agility,
like.
1 health ship. Yeah, you might want to just take the focus 2 die. But I feel like in most other situations, I personally would reach for at least a 3-die attack without.
Well,
points.
I mean, you always say an extra die is basically a reroll that
It's
is
basically
built
a
in.
mod.
So
Yeah,
that's a will math. That's a will math. Will math the upgrade for real.
Yeah, we'll math the upgrade. Yeah, it's true. Yeah.
Well,
Because
so also
you would gladly spend a focus to add a die, right? On like almost every ship.
I feel like, yeah, not always, but not always.
the thing I like about having Tally SL with this Veni too is if I go into the scrum of it and I'm gonna bump something because I'm a big base ship, right?
Sure.
I don't stress focus. I wait for Tally to coordinate me. So if I want to rotate red focus or just focus, I have the choice at I5 to know where my arc needs to be.
Yeah.
True.
Yeah, you really want everything to be in your front arc, sort of like Ray, because you really get the most value out of that. But I mean, if you're not going to get a shot, yeah, definitely turn that to the left and right.
And if you're paying it to so the first paragraph of dedicated gunners is really the only new type of text. The second paragraph is just the same as veteran turret gunner.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
which I do like that it's not like Biston where you have to like keep a focus.
Yeah.
So
you want to keep a focus so that you either have
Yeah.
a mod or can boost it, right?
Yeah. But if I spend a focus and roll 4 focuses, I'm spending the focus kind of thing.
Sure, of course. All right, well, let's keep going here. We got 3 other pilots. What's the next one we're taking a look at?
I would tie into a Ronith because it partners very well with Benny. So Ronith is a 3-point RZ2 SL. It is the lowest point cost thing out of the Resistance SLs of this pack. Ronith has the same stat line as a regular RZ2, has the same chassis ability as RZ2, has the same action bar as a normal RZ2, and has the same pilot ability, which for many people who may not have flown Ronith in a very, very long time, or never have, while you defend or perform an attack, if an enemy ship in another friendly ship's, if an enemy ship is in another friendly ship's turret arc, you may spend 1 focus from that friendly ship to change one of your eyeball results to a evade or hit result. So think of it like the Tri-Fighter from Separatist, DIS T81, the non-Coruscant one, the regular one. That's like you're basically pulling focuses from other friends that have whatever's attacking you or whatever you're attacking, their focuses to use for yourself to change 1 eye result to a evade for defense or hit offense. Ronith has Heroic. Ronith has Starboard Slash, and has a new talent ability called Escort Fighter. It's a single charge, 1 recurring, so once per turn. While a friendly non-small ship defends, if you are in the attacker's firing arc, you may spend 1 charge and gain a strain token to add an eye result roll, which is pretty nice. And as we talked about with Veni, if Veni has whoever's attacking them in a mobile arc, whether it's their own or a friend, they get to convert an eyeball to an evade. Ronith basically provides an evade once per turn to Veni, as an example, or Ray, or Chewie, or any other Falcon or Star Fortress. or future non-small ships in resistance. So, yeah, so Ronith's kind of meant to be that escorting A-wing, helping the other larger ships defend a little better.
Pretty good. You said 3 points for
3
them.
points. Yep.
There you go. I mean, that's what you want out of your escort fighter. If you're already bringing in an expensive large base ship, your escort should be pretty inexpensive.
Yeah. We knew we wanted it to. We knew we wanted one of the RZ2s or X-wings to offer some sort of additional defensive bonus to the Star Fortresses or other large base ships in general.
Mm-hmm.
And but we didn't want it to be so good that it'd be a 4-point cost range. We really wanted Ronith to be around 3 because the most common ships you want this to be defending are 6 points or higher. So you're investing theoretically like 9 points, even though Ronith doesn't have to always have escort fighter turned on, but it can help the math defensively in some really clutch moments.
I would bet, yeah. Very cool.
It does make your opponent think about going after Ronith maybe sometimes instead of your large base ship.
Same initiative as Vinny as well. So I see the obvious pairing. Real easy to follow
Maximum
those two
flexibility
together.
of movement.
Ooh, block a ship. Bring up Vinny, range 1 of it for the double tap. Ugh, could be nasty.
Then you're shooting Ronith at 0, which you don't really want to shoot. But Ronith can still activate the ability anyway.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Just be an arc. That's it.
Very cool. Yeah, because the 2 focus tokens, so you actually can use Ronith's ability twice off of Vinny. Probably won't, but, if the situation arises Ronith needs it to survive, you might have to.
Yeah.
All right, cool. Let's keep it going, though. Hitting the halfway mark here, and certainly not halfway on our time. Who is the other one? We got Tubbs. I don't remember.
No, ZZ. We're going reverse order at this point. I mean, we did Tubbs as well, but I figured since we were starting at the bottom with Vinny, we're going up. ZZ would be the RZ2 next.
ZZ. Got them pulled up here. And this is the Initiative 5 A-Wing. Same regular stat line. This one has a 1 charge recurring for their pilot ability. After you defend or perform an attack, you can spend a charge to gain a focus or evade token. So it should be the exact same up and down for old ZZ here, except for their upgrades. Of course, you gotta have Heroic on your A-Wing, so ZZ has it here, but brings 2 other new upgrades. First one, for the cause, while you defend or perform an attack, you can spend a non-blank result to choose a friendly stranger depleted ship on range 1 to 2. That ship may remove 1 strain or deplete. I believe this is I was going to say standard loadout, but that's not what I meant. This is the
special talent.
Special talent, sure. Special talent for the evacuation of Dakar. We just didn't see it on the other 2 pilots there. Then, as well, Precision Hollow Targeter. While you perform a primary attack, if you are not in the defender's firing arc, the defender rolls 1 fewer defense dice. So, this is essentially my understanding.
What Dengar always wanted.
Well, yeah, exactly. This is outmaneuver without the requirements of outmaneuver, which means it
without
would
the
work
front arc requirement.
Correct. Yes. So it would work if you're shooting your turret out the front or your turret out the rear as well.
Correct.
Very good. Very good. I mean, this easy's got no missiles, no nothing other than the 2 attack die. So you're gonna need something.
No way to get 3 dice. Yeah.
Well, yeah. Other than range 1.
Yeah, range 1.
Yes.
I'll say that I've played ZZ quite a bit since we made it public, and even I was like, this is probably okay. ZZ's 4 points. And I know a lot of people are like generally really high on custom ZZ because you get the procket, you get the spike damage. That Precision Hollow Targeter is on so much. The floor of damage that the ZZ provides is so consistent throughout a game.
Yeah.
I think people are going to sleep on this one a little bit because they don't see the prockets. They don't see a consistent way getting 3 dice. But this is like Wedge RZ1 on steroids. Because you get I5, you get ZZ's normal ability.
I mean, this is just I5 Wedge in an A-Wing. Is really what you're putting out.
Yeah.
Adult Wedge
Yeah.
in the Resistance A-Wing. Yeah. I mean, you put it that way, I mean, man, you're really not wrong.
I could definitely see this being 3 points, though. I think.
What?
I see your point.
I5 focus evade outmaneuver?
No.
Get out of here.
This thing, no. We can't give this 3 points.
No,
absolutely
never.
I just don't see it being. I could definitely see it being a tanky platform of like sort of like.
This is Kyo like situations where it's like Kyo, where it can defend, can defend normally. Probably has a good flight pattern that he can take. But if you turn away from it, then it's gonna has to switch modes and turn on to like a different style. And the ZZ kind of does it all at once. As I had initiative 5 as well, so you're arc dodging.
Yeah.
That boost rotate to the back, and then you get to shoot and then get a defensive modifier. Ugh. Yeah, I can see why you like this. Very good.
One of my favorite pairings with the ZZ. I've been trying it out a bit in the NCX League. I've liked the profile and resistance of 6 cost, 2 4 costs, and 2 3 costs. Which in the Venny list, it was like Venny, ZZ, Tally, Ronith, and Meryl with a procket, right? Like 4 SLs and Meryl with a procket. It was fun. But I've also tried Chewie Falcon, ZZ SL, the logistics pilot with R3 and M9G8.
Sure.
And Ronith and Meryl again with prockets.
Okay.
M9G8 locking this ZZ and Chewie is real nice. It's real nice.
I guess that's true. The only thing this really needs is a consistent reroll. Otherwise, you got everything else down pat. So yeah, I can see it. So who? Sorry, go ahead.
I just personally have a hard time finding the value in this ship. I could see it not providing the value if you don't fly it well.
Well, the value is that you can focus evade and you are just defensive.
Yeah.
That you don't get taken off the board.
It's one of those ships that, like, RZ2s, as we know, can be hard to pin down. 4 points is not really enough to dedicate a majority of your list to go get, right? Like, if I generally leave ZZ out on an island, I say, okay, ZZ, you're going to go do your thing. If they look at you well enough, you're either going to, like, super dodge, run away with your speed and maneuverability, or if they look at you and you get to shoot before them, I'm just not going to spend any mods. I'm just going to have focus evade when you shoot back at me. And then when I leave, I get to rotate my arc behind and still shoot you, and you can't do that. Ships. If they do commit a bunch of resources to ZZ, and ZZ turtles up and or say when they don't finally commit, then I have outmaneuver. So you got to play the game of like ZZ's out on an island and make your opponent decide how much they're going to commit to ZZ, if anything at all. If they commit nothing, ZZ is like, here I go. I'm getting range 1 as much as possible. I'm focus boosting into getting it. You're not getting you're subtracting some agility and getting in the mix of things from behind, because ZZ can turn into a flanker extremely fast, as we know, with any RC2. And I5 gets you a lot of later decisions to make when and when not to do that.
Yeah, I feel like I would almost rate this better than the customizable one, Procket or not. I never thought ZZ's primary dice, except for maybe back when there was optics ZZ, like heroic optics, where you're just setting down like 2 results most of the time. Then maybe, but I don't know. This ZZ is really good. If you need that defensive ship, this is gonna be what you reach for.
Because I guess I'm looking at custom ZZ. James, how would you build? Would you take custom ZZ normally in Resistance? If you do, what do you take? Procket plus.
Oh boy, I'll probably say Resistance is the least played of my factions.
Okay.
But I will definitely, like, if I had the option to take Azizi, I would, and most
Mhm.
likely taking it with optics. So optics is my first upgrade.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you can do
so
Procket Optics is easy, technically.
Yeah.
yeah, and that's what I was saying. That kind of
Well, maybe
consistency.
rocket, but I don't know. I'm not super big on the Rocket ZZ, but I could definitely be convinced.
Well,
I
I
don't know.
think a
Like I
lot.
said,
I think a lot
it's
more.
my least played.
I think a lot more people gravitated more towards Lulo because you could get a bigger red
Yes.
number. So didn't being able to trade away some of that defensiveness, I think, was the thought process a lot of people, you included, James, have that two attack dice on an expensive ship is just not ever going to make up those points.
Yeah, that's just how I see it. But like I
I
said,
mean, this is
in
way
better
to divide
and
those.
better hands. Yeah.
We'll see. I mean, we've seen Ahsoka, and well, Ahsoka brings a concussion, so maybe that's not the same.
Yeah.
All right, well, let's keep
Soka
going
brings
though.
missiles.
We got one more. Then who did I miss?
Dubs.
Tubbs. It was Tubbs.
Yep.
He is our
Last T70.
Yep, he's our I1 T70 here. J. Chris Tubbs has the same ability. It looks like after you fully execute a blue maneuver, you can choose a friendly ship at range 0 to 1. If you do, that ship removes 1 stress. So you kind of have to. It is weird because he moves first, unless you're moving with another I1. Anyway, it has the adaptive S foils that we've seen on these other SLs here that says if you bear roll, you gain deplete, and then you can remove that deplete if the defender's in your bullseye. So it works just like regular flappy wings. It does have both linked bear roll and focus linked boost. Oh, that's so good, man. The only thing in T70 ever was looking for was that focus linked boost. It has, of course, For the Cause and a astromech here, R0 or RO. I assume it's R0 because that's just how our astromechs work. But the droid here says after you reveal a basic maneuver, you may reduce its difficulty. If you do, after the check difficulty step, gain 1 strain. So we can basic maneuvers is a maneuver that's not advanced, so no talon rolls. Can't be white talon rolling for a strain here with Tubbs. But if you need to do, say, a hard 2 or a 3 bank, you can make it blue to start triggering their ability and potentially clear stress from your boosting. So, that seems a little scary, going down to 1 agility to be able to hard 2 boost focus. But man, that's pretty good though. You having those options when you need them to be able to clear those stress seems very good. Reminds me a lot of the RP droid. What's the
R4P.
yes limited use instead of a penalty, but we all praise that very much. Where it really changes your dial for the 2 rounds that you have it. I can see this
Yep.
being very
The fact
similar.
that Jakers can essentially have any basic maneuver, because none of the basic maneuvers that a T70 has is red. They're all
Sure.
advanced maneuvers. Any basic can be blue for Jakers, which opens up his ability a lot in terms of
Four
speed.
straight 3-turn.
Yep. But it's just at the cost of like the strain. So theoretically, your resources, your opponent's willingness to weaponize that strain against you
Sure.
and your health.
But that also makes Tubbs' ability so much better because you're able to actually reach out and help friends.
Yep. You can reach much farther. So if you have any like crazy stress reliant first order or not first order, resistance based list, but you want to clear it maybe a little better, might be kind of sneaky usage. Jakers is rarely used as a custom, but this is much more flexible.
Yeah, it used to only be for like shenanigans. A lot more when like the couches came out. or when the Star Fortresses came out with them. Trying to,
Oh, and this Tubbs is 4 points.
sure, I would hope so. Definitely not 3-point T70. No, thank you. I was trying to look at the other T70s it could fly with. These other evacuation T70s do have those linked actions, just like the A-Wings would as well, right? So, I mean, just flying around with other people who want to link their actions would be enough. You don't need anything like fancy of like taking stress to do extra abilities.
Thinking about like reaching out to a Poe and clearing.
That's
his
what I'm
stress.
thinking. Yeah.
That normally you could get
above
to.
it? Oh yeah,
Yeah.
Poe's,
Or
Poe's
let
above them there. Yeah.
letting a ship that likes to use the stress what's the stress
You're talking pattern analyzer.
pattern. A ship that wants to use pattern is a stress, so you take their stress off of them and then they do a 4K kind of thing.
Yeah, that's what I was
I'm a
saying about
defender
like
now.
the couches just stopping with pattern analyzer. It's a funny way.
What
of
if I
getting,
kept reversing?
Oh yeah, we're reversing.
Yeah.
That's the non-Leia way of flying Kova, is you get Tubbs to fly with her. But again, though, now you're like have a ship that doesn't move and you just stay range one of it. So how many Tubbs activations are you really going to get with
someone's doing circles around whoever the couch is.
Yeah, pretty much. So a little interesting there for Tubbs, but does provide some good value for honestly any of these T70s with their linked actions.
Linked actions, focus boost.
Yeah, the boost focus. Oof, what any T70 would ever need.
I do love that these guys got their focus boost off of because the battle over Andor, X-Wing's got the roll focus.
Yep.
So
that was our main alignment point. We're like, well, if T65s
if they can
the
get this,
T7, yeah, right.
Yeah,
worth a newer model.
Yeah, just good because T70s need to be that much better than T65s all the time.
Pretty much.
T65s can't get one good thing without T70s feeling it.
Excuse you, T65s has I-5 focus lock advanced proton torpedo wedge.
Oh, now they do. Yeah. Yeah, they're doing okay nowadays.
Yeah. We got boy Luke.
All right, so that was the last of our new Resistance ones. There's, of course, a couple other ones spoiled previously. We're going to kind of cross-reference them with that Conquest Series tournament to see what people might have been trying to fly. We see Funwalk did very well, got 6th place overall. Big gush to him. With a Resistance squad, and it brings the ZZ that A-Wing we had
the only
about.
one.
So yeah, fits nicely in a 5-ship squad there. Makes a lot of sense to me. They brought Poe and some other like value pieces into it. Actually, what was the Poe, ZZ, Zori, Tezza, and Finn. Zori and Tezza, the Y-Wings with Wartime. So pretty cool. And then Finn just with Pattern and Heroic. It's very cool to see. Let's take a look, though. What was the other Resistance that I saw?
Rank 15?
15.
Yeah. Oh, no. Let's see. Yeah, 15. That's where we got a Venny SL and a Ronith SL and a Stamaroni. Sorry, all 4 ships were SLs. Venny, Poe, Stamaroni, and Ronith.
Yeah. A classic combination one we just described. Venny and Ronith, and then just some good X-Wings and Poe and Stamarowski. This is from Torhorn. I'm not familiar with that name, but they did well enough. 3-2 with this all evacuation squad. So Venny got some legs, getting some wins out there. Good to see. I think, let's see, Epionic, I don't know, maybe brought ZZ. Yeah, we just brought ZZ. Same list as Funwalk, more or less. Very similar, anyways. Saw a Falcon in 20th place as well. Here's the Lando one. So, it's good. Some good showing of the Resistance pack there. Obviously, ZZ, the standout there, getting the highest in Funwalk's squad, but still, people experimenting, trying to see what those Star Fortresses can do. So I'm excited to see what people are reaching for in the future. But we got one last faction to go through here. I was going to say it might be the cause the most discussion, but we found plenty to
Yeah, I
talk
was gonna
about
say
in the
this
other
might
ones.
actually be the biggest section.
We got some time for it. But the big one we gotta talk about here.
Boba Fett, where?
Yeah, I'm wearing my Boba Fett wear T-shirt. So
Exactly.
Perfect.
A big shout out to the Windy City Conquest overall winner, Sevwall, takes the victory with 2 or 3 of the SLs. I don't remember if I don't
he had
think
them.
Finn
Boba
is.
Mando.
I don't think
Oh,
his
and
fin is custom. Or, his fin is the SL. I believe it's
It is, yeah.
customizable. Well, why has it got the Predator upgrade then?
No, it's
oh,
it's
sorry,
custom.
it is custom. Yeah,
Okay.
sorry.
Yeah.
I
Spoiler
shouldn't
alert,
say Predator.
other Fen would not fit. That would be illegal.
Yes, I was going to say that. I think
Yeah.
that might be too many points. But the Boba, though, we have it on screen here. Let's read it off because this thing is complex.
It's our highest costed SL out of all 3 of these packs.
What's our total point cost? 7?
7 for this Boba.
Which is normal pricing for a named fire spray.
Not named
Except
Boba,
for
yeah.
custom.
But not not
No,
custom.
custom Boba's 8. Yeah.
Okay, but most of the other named fire sprays are 7
Cat
points.
is 6. Yeah.
Well, probably deservedly so. Also, Marauder only. Cath only on Marauder, please. Still asking for
please.
it. XWA.
Yeah. Yeah.
Someday.
When
Ryan, let him know. Just slide that note across the table. Put that on your whiteboard.
yeah,
Like,
make the titles actually correct.
Well, what if instead of punishing people by never allowing them to take it, what if if it goes on the ship it's designed for and the pilot they get a bonus instead?
Ooh.
Whatever.
Positive reinforcement.
Okay.
No, negative reinforcement. Always stick. Never carry.
Yeah, everyone's still going to take it anyways, so whatever. Anyways. Yeah, let's talk about Boba Fett. This is
the same. Yeah, go ahead.
The I-5 fire spray here, 3 out the front, 3 out the back, 2 agility, 6 hull, 4 shields. As the usual new ability here with Boba Fett. After another friendly ship defense, if you have a lock on the attacker, you may perform a bonus attack against the attacker. So this is a little bit of Zam. I'll show you business mixed with Dengar. Very similar.
More closely, Boudica in total. You
Also
shoot my
Boudica.
friend, I shoot you.
Okay, yeah. So Boudica with a lock restriction.
Yeah, and not the consequence of deplete. Yeah.
Sure. Yeah. So really drawing the attention. If Boba has you locked, you really need to shoot Boba or risk the extra attack. That's easy to wrap our head around. Bonus attacks are good, so good way to start off this card. We have a homing beacon as well here. A couple upgrades. Homing beacon, 2 charges while you perform a lock action. You may spend a charge to ignore range restrictions. Should be very good for the opening round to get that lockout on the person you want to threaten the most. Also, it says after you fully execute an advanced maneuver, if there's an enemy ship at range 1 to 2 in your front arc, you may spend 1 charge to acquire a lock on that ship. I believe the only advanced maneuvers we have are the Talon rolls. So do a Talon roll.
And 4K.
Oh, and the 4K, of course.
Yeah.
So turn around, and if you flip over somebody, you can grab a little lock on them. That's very good. A lock for the opening round, and then a lock for when you Talon roll as well. Very, very cool. Finnick Shant, because of course this is the Doma. Is that what he calls himself? The Doma?
Daimyo.
Daimyo, thank you. From the Mandalorian series and Book of Boba Fett. So bringing, of course, Finnick Shant with them. The ability, while you defend or perform an attack, if you have a lock on the enemy ship rolls 1 fewer dice. So outmaneuver based on lock, and then also a sort of Kanan Jarrus effect, where you give the enemy a sort of deplete before they attack you. So now you're creating a situation to where they're penalized for attacking Boba while you have them locked, and they're penalized for attacking somebody else while Boba has you locked. So you can't win if Boba has you locked unless you get out of Boba's arc. This, of course, has seismic charges for iconic Slave 1 upgrade, and the Slave 1 title itself. While I perform a front arc attack, if you're in the defender's rear half, you can change 1 hit to a crit. This is standard Separatist Slave 1 title. So, this Boba Fett loves locks, and it's very scary.
Don't forget the action bar.
Oh, yes, of course. Big note there, it does have a boost into red lock. So, obviously.
And no more red reinforce.
Ooh, that's true. No red reinforce. Don't got time for that. Locks are too important for this Boba Fett. Which
He's coming to get you.
Would not have expected this Boba Fett to be so lock required, but I think it's for the best. Locks are hard to maintain. You have to call them out ahead of time, normally in activation, about who and where you plan on using these lock abilities. So it's very interesting. What is your guys' thoughts on this? Is it just Boudica and a fire spray?
Let James go first, since I was part of design team.
What do you think, James? Is this just a Boudica fire spray, or is there something special going on here?
I think it's really good about going one-on-one with somebody. I think this is the ultimate like bounty hunter. I'm gonna get my target. Like I have my target, I have singled it out, and I'm gonna go for it. So I think that unfortunately, unless you're able to line up you got the homing beacon lock, you come in with a focus on that turn kind of thing, it's going to be real hard to be defensive against the rest of their list, which is what I found when I used it. I was able to really just tear apart that one ship that I had locked.
Mm-hmm.
But because I didn't have any other kind of defensive token, you'll note on this ship that it's lacking the reinforce action.
Right.
Has the boost lock, which is nice, but missing a good portion of the rest of that list, or the rest of the.
That's a great point. Your only defensive upgrade is people being scared of you and a single focus token.
Yeah. So, yeah, and it only all your things work on that one ship that you have locked. That's it.
Right.
So
and there's no way to change your lock mid-combat unless somebody else is doing it for you.
Yeah. So I think that's gonna, like exactly what you said. That's gonna be the real piece that unlocks this, and in my opinion, is finding something that helps you get more locks or change your lock. So I think that's going to be a real interesting piece. Like for example, something that I was looking to pair this with was Ketsu with Mando Optics and Grief Karga.
Okay.
To give Ketsu does a coordinate action with Grief Karga, because and the Mando Optics to get a lock onto something. Grief Karga says after you coordinate a ship, it may require a lock on the object you have locked. So now you're giving Boba a focus lock or a boost lock that's not red.
Sure.
You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
So also add
coordinate
addition
them
to
and
5.
do all that stuff. Okay, that's interesting. Grief Karga, I like that. There's some real bounty hunter stuff out there.
Yeah. So yeah, and that was kind of like my thinking with that. It was like also like very 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 thematic with the Grief Karga bounty hunter guild.
I see that. Yeah. Was that?
But I mean, you could.
Oh, sorry, finish.
You could really
finish
like anything that can get Boba another action is going to be paramount.
Yeah. Is there? You're gonna be doing some goofy stuff. It's always Hondo shenanigans, isn't it? That's how you get the reinforce
Hondo
on
was
Boba.
something that I looked at. Yeah. Yeah.
That's weird, but I mean, it's always Hondo. Hondo could do it if anybody else, if no one else could, he could figure it out. But you said that you kind of followed this in its development, Ryan.
Oh no, all of these SLs were touched. I've development of all of them. I had some hand in some percentage.
Fantastic.
So this Boba, there's a lot of redundancies built into it for the lock part of it, and the focus of it being on the lock. Because as you said, locks are like because you can only have one lock normally. You're only affecting the one thing. So Boba, with adding the boost lock was a big thing that we came to eventually. Boba went through a lot of iterations, because we knew we wanted him to hit good. We wanted him to play differently than the custom Boba. We didn't want him to be as expensive as the custom Boba. We wanted to introduce Fennec Shand and make him beat Book of Boba Fett Boba. So he had to be like a little more honorable or a little more like protective. So like hence the Bodica style. We knew we wanted a bonus attack. We knew we wanted that. We wanted Fennec Shand. We wanted Seismics, and we wanted Slave 1 title, likely the one that already exists, to keep, not too many new things at once.
Right.
The homing beacon was a way to allow locks to be gained earlier on in the game, almost kind of like Fennec also having some part of like sniping from long range, being able to see, because and combining those sort of together. And then allowing Boba to still do some red moves and have the chance to acquire a lock if he lost it or wanted to move it around. So instead of just giving him contraband cybernetics, we have basically a lock-based contraband cybernetics with homing beacons second ability. And Fennec is just all about like, I have the lock on something, so now I could snipe you and you have to be so careful around me because I'm exposing your weaknesses offensively or defensively. So this Boba, like you said, it's a one-on-one menace. Like, this is an assassin. It is going to try and find one ship that your opponent has and say, this ship is going to have a terrible time if it interacts with me.
Yeah.
But that's why you need to look at it with most of your list, because you're right, defensively, it doesn't have anything off of a normal fire spray except the one ship that it has locked. If it shoots it, is shooting one less dice. That's it. So you really have to, I think what'll push this over the edge for some people is knowing when to finding ways to kind of do a fang fighter type thing, right? Like not be in front of it's the whole like range 3 or few objects or few enemy ships to engage with, to like zoom in, maybe more like an RZ2, zoom in and go past, right? That boost lock. So if you could boost past them, if you need to change your lock to somewhere else, lock someone that's out your back arc at that point. I think when people get used to the potential of allowing Boba to use that back arc more so he can zoom past all the ships that want to be looking at him, it makes it more challenging for your opponent to deal with him. If you don't have to move your lock and you only boost, that sets you up for that, advanced maneuver, homing beacon potential play if you want to move it around next turn. I didn't get to
Yeah, that's cool.
watch any of the games from 312 to know how Sevwall may have mostly used Boba to the highest effectiveness possible. But yeah, you got to find a way to keep him from taking a lot of damage from multiple sources. And obviously, this Boba is going to be a menace to any list type that features one main ship and lesser contributing or lesser costed ships, or even just low ship count. Like if this Boba's facing a 3-ship list, he is enthusiastic about it. If he's facing a 4-ship list, he's still probably happy. If he's facing a 5-ship list, he's like, what kind of 5-ship list? I might be able to be okay, but I might not be okay.
Yeah, if it's like a one big ship and 4 small things kind of thing.
Right. If it's like Ray and a bunch of small things, he's like, I'm probably okay. But if it's like, here's 5 T70s, he's like, I'm not really happy right now.
Yeah. Turns out I'm going to be trying to run away and just shoot out my rear a lot.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So as a note, Sevwall had chosen, we said customizable Fen Rao, the Mandalorian that we spoiled or revealed or whatever, with the Force and the Calibrated, and then Cad Bane, also in a Rogue class Starfighter there with synced and procket, synced laser cannons and a proton rocket. So really trying to give up like 4 bad targets, more or less. Though most of those you have to fly very well. You can't just put Mandalorian in the bad position. Same with Finn Rao or Boba Fett. They all had bad places they could have been, but Sevwall managed to get them into the right places at the right time.
Yeah.
I
can assume that like most people probably saw that Boba and Fenn and analyzed like those two probably need to go if I'm going to win this game. One of these two, especially Boba, need to go if I'm going to win this game, which frees up the Mandalorian a lot for pretty good calibrated outmaneuver shots. I'm pretty sure that's probably a common strategy he had. And then, Fenn Rao probably getting in the mix with Boba and covering some of Boba's blind spots against other I6 things. So if your opponent's like, I want to reposition out of Boba's arc so I don't have to worry about him shooting me of my ship that's locked or whatever. And then Fenn's like, well, if you do that, I'm going to be here and I'm going to shoot you real hard.
Right. I feel like kind of covering each other in that aspect. Like, okay, well, Boba Fett moves, and you're like, well, that ship is going to, or this particular ship is going to be the one who shoots Fenn Rao at range 2. So let's Boba lock that ship to try to give him some covering fire if they choose to go that route. So I kind of like that. It's a classic like rotating of your aces, but they essentially get 4 aces to rotate in and out. So not a put it on the board and win list by any means, and I would say the same for this Boba Fett. Not an auto include or an auto win, but very scary. A little dice dependent, I think, would be my only complaint about this Boba Fett, because you don't have offensive rerolls, because you don't want to be spending your lock. You don't really have defensive rerolls either, so you're really single modding your defense. So very dice dependent, unfortunately.
Yeah, I guess that's another thing that I don't think we noted is like we talked about the defense being just a normal fire spray with a single action. But offensively, if you want to keep that lock active for Fennec's effect, for Boba's threat of a bonus attack, you can't spend the lock.
Nope. So you have no reroll. There's no way for you to reroll outside of.
I mean, you can if you need
something.
to. Like, if you're like, I need to spend this lock because this ship has to be taken out. Like, there will be times where that happens. But the majority of it is you probably want to keep that lock active as much as possible. So you're likely just a focus attack ship.
Right. Very, very cool. Let's hit the other three here for the rest of our scum and get out of here. So we might be running a little long. Who haven't we covered? Han Solo. I know we haven't covered.
Han Solo.
Take it away. One of you two who's ever more enthusiastic about it.
I can go.
Go ahead, James.
Han Solo. This is in the Falcon, Scum Falcon. Same normal stat profile. Actually sort of the same stat profile. Has 2 attack, bow tie, 1 agility, 8 shields, and 8 hull, and then 3 shields plus 2 because the escape shuttle is docked essentially. Is kind of how I think about this. So it's 8 hull, 5 shields. And then one charge on this for the coaxium injectors. After you fully execute a speed 3 or 4 maneuver, you may spend your 1 charge to perform a red slam action even while stressed. To perform a slam action, you must suffer a crit unless you expose one of your damage cards. So this is after slammers. So being able to do a speed 3 or 4 maneuver, then spend your 1 charge to perform a red slam action, even while stressed, which is pretty crazy.
Yep, you can slam after doing a red maneuver, in theory. You could sloop and then free bank out of it.
Yeah, how does that work with blue maneuvers? Do we know? I feel like we've run into
You would
before.
clear the stress if you do a blue move, yeah.
Yeah,
so if you did
the check stress is before afters.
Gotcha. So if you did so if you did a 2 bank, I think your 2 banks are blue, right?
Yeah, 2 bank.
Yeah. So if you did, or I guess 3. It's 3. It's only a speed 3. So if your L3 was inactive, which we'll talk about in a second, your 3 banks are blue. You did a 3 bank, you would clear the stress from it.
You're talking about the slamming a blue 3-speed maneuver. Now that is a better question. You normally receive the stress of an action after you're done doing the action. So, or else, because if you got the stress before you did the action, you probably won't be able to do the action. So, my quick ruling would say you should
take cost first, though. You do pay cost first, which I think the red is like.
You're asking the wrong. You're asking the right questions.
The wrong people.
No. Don't look too closely at taking a red stress before an action. The game doesn't work if you start looking at that too long.
When it happens.
I believe no longer works.
I believe you're technically right, but that's not how we've always played the game, and we'll continue to play the game. That yes, you should take your costs before you do things, but red actions is a fundamental flaw in that logic.
Yes.
So I'll have to get back to you.
But if you did a 3 sloop into a 3 bank with L3 charges and active, you would clear the 3 sloops stress, if that makes sense.
Right, but he's just saying
for sure. That's not even a question. Yeah.
I don't.
Yeah,
we'll Maui that one. I would say tentatively no. You're still stressed at the end of that thing, but don't quote me on that. Maui will.
Yeah. That's interesting.
Well,
irregardless, let's move on because that was a very big tangent. The normal pilot ability, however, you still have that while you defend or perform a primary attack. If the attack is obstructed by an obstacle, you may roll 1 additional die. I believe the action bar is a little bit different. It has focus, lock, red boost, and rotate into red focus. So good to see some linked actions there for the focus. Has a couple of crew here. Has Chewbacca crew with 2 charges recurring. During the system phase, you can spend 2 charges to repair a face-up damage card. I feel like this is Rebel Chewbacca.
It's a slightly modified Rebel Chewbacca, yes.
Okay, all right, thank you.
Mhm.
And then we have L337. How did you guys put a floppy, like a flip-flop card, onto a standard loadout? Let's take
A
a look.
charge.
It
It's a
turns out
charge.
it's always charges.
You just flip the charge, and it'll work.
While you defend, you may spend 1 charge. If you do, the attacker must reroll all attack dice. And if this charge is inactive, decrease the difficulty of your make maneuvers. This upgrades charge cannot be recovered. So that's probably what it should have been to begin with, in my opinion. But not a flip flop card. But
Well, you get
The other
two
part
arts,
that does make
though.
it a little. The other thing that does make it a little better is that I believe the other side of L3 to decrease the speed requires you to not have any shields left.
That is correct.
that's true. That's true. Okay.
But I was saying
So-
is that you get the two arts though. If you get both sides, you get the art of L3 the robot, and
Oh.
L3 as the Falcon.
As the Falcon. Okay. All right. I'm converted. All right. And then we have Tobias Beckett as a gunner here while you perform an attack. If you are stressed, you may reroll up to 2 attack dice. Then suffer a crit damage if one or more of the rerolled results is a critical result. So this is R
R5P8 ish.
R5P8. Okay, I was like, what number was it? I can't remember. It's the Dengar droid.
Yeah, Dengar droid.
So yeah, very similar to R5P8, but allows you to reroll 2 dice if you're stressed. No charges either. So this is just always on. If you want it, if you
always
want
on if you're
wanna risk it.
stressed.
If you're stressed, yeah, it's always on. If you want to risk that critical damage, I feel like every time I roll R5P8, it's a crit. So I get very nervous about it.
Look,
I almost
Chewie-
never.
Chewie's here to fix your problems. It's okay.
I guess so. So that's really cool, being able to rotate into red focus or just boost for that red action to get some rerolls when you're stressed.
Or the bump
on attack.
focus too.
The bump focus. Oh, I
Yeah.
love things that interact with bump focus.
Ugh. Sorry.
I sense
it's
some
no
level of
sarcasm.
sarcasm.
Yeah. Not exactly what we were looking for, but it does technically work.
Yeah, I will say that the action bar update was a little bit of a later edition because he was feeling
Wow.
a little underpowered, but we liked that the flight path variation you'd get by forcing, like, you have to rotate if you want
Yep.
a focus plus or bump. You have to
Yep.
rotate link focus if you want the focus plus
Yeah.
Tobias active. So it made
Yep.
very interesting flight paths because you'd have to move in a certain way where you want to rotate into focus.
Yeah, that is super interesting because I feel like a lot of Hans, a lot of Scum Hans, just go sideways and just skirt around the field because they love getting obstructed attacks.
Yeah.
So I love that, like, you're kind of saying, okay, you can still do that, but you really need to maybe like alter some of your flight patterns, like you're saying, to make sure that, like, you have, I'm shooting through this rock this turn, I'm going to turn and shoot through this rock next turn because it'll be obstructed and I'll be rotate stressed, you know. That's really cool. And we also have Lando's Millennium Falcon title, very similar to the normal one, but this one gets a little bit of an upgrade as well. While you perform a primary attack, if the defender has a non-lock red or orange token, roll an additional attack die. So before, I think it was stress, just stress.
It was only
And
stress
this is,
before.
non-lock or red. So that could be jam, tractor, stress, strain,
Arm.
deplete,
Ion.
disarm, ion. Oh man, throw an ion out there and just throw one ion on a medium base. And
Just bring gas clouds and dare your opponent to go through them.
oh my goodness,
Gas
that's
clouds. Han Solo's new best friend.
Han Solo's new best friend. Yeah, exactly. So this Han Solo is looking pretty interesting. What's the point cost here on this one?
6.
Okay.
Same as custom. Custom has a
Okay.
lot of loadout. They used to have a 5-point version with less loadout that deemed a little too good. So
Too
both are
good.
6 now.
Yeah. Yeah, but no trick shot on this one, so really not getting too crazy of dice
Yeah.
pools. But
You're not getting
very
5
good.
dice
I
attacks,
w-
not at range 1.
Yeah.
I will
Your
say,
your floor is higher with this one because of the Tobias rerolls.
true.
Fair.
Circling back, James. I'm gonna say that with that ability, I think you actually do end up unstressed, but it's a once.
I
It's a
thought
once
so,
per game
but
ability, and you can't shoot while you do it. So, and there's only one
yeah,
maneuver
because
Yeah.
that even
the,
allows
the,
this
the,
to work. So go for it. Have fun. It will work if you need it to. It will work. But
yeah,
it still comes at a high cost: damage or expose plus
Yeah,
weapons disabled.
this is
So.
one of the like siloed slam abilities in the game that doesn't circumvent the disarm.
Mm-hmm.
Because like this is on a theme level, this is obviously when they inject the coaxium in it and they escape through the Kessel Run and escape the big maw monster thing.
yeah.
That ship was just a piece like wrecked after that happened. So in going with that, it's a stressful slam. It's critting you unless you flip a card. Chewie's frantically trying to like repair stuff in the process. Tobias is, I don't care. I'm shooting these TIE fighters out of here. I don't care if it hurts us in the process. And I get some people will be like, hey, how come we still don't have the barrel roll bonk the TIE fighter thing? Guys, that is so hard to try and get in a game design. It is so hard.
I could see it just.
You have to
just
extend it out to
roll.
range 1, basically. But yeah, then it doesn't look as good.
No, it's like,
then it's yeah.
I would say you have to fail it. Like if you fail a barrel roll because
then
of
nothing
an
happens. You're
no.
worse,
You deal the damage to both of you.
It's so finicky.
I
promise.
I will
auto damage. Auto damage.
Yeah,
I don't
that's
know.
what we need more of. What I need more of is more of these pilot cards. We got Dengar up next. He's coming in his Jump Master. Same regular stat line there. 2 attack. Printed. 2 agility. 9 total health. A charge recurring. After you defend, if the attacker is in your front arc, you can spend that once recurring charge to perform a bonus attack against the attacker. So, classic Dengar ability there. Does keep the rotate and focus linked actions and the red barrel roll. No chassis ability. I don't know about that, but
yeah, I don't know about that. There's no ability on that card.
We have a wallop text to read, so I'm sure it'll make up for it. We have, first off, our gunner, R2 G8, 2 charges once recurring. After you perform a primary attack that hits, you can spend 2 charges to choose an enemy ship at range 0 to 1 of the defender. If you do, that ship gains a strain token. So, hit with your primary attack, strain a enemy ship, potentially the one you just attacked. So a little bit like Typer Saxon. Typer Saxon, like a weaker version
every other
of
Tiber.
Tiber that's weaker, but it could work against a secondary ship. So that's pretty cool.
It doesn't require a damage card because Tiber requires.
I think it does require a damage card. Yeah.
Tiber's but like so not too many damage cards. It's really weird.
Very finicky. This one you just have to hit, and then you hand out a strain. So that's every other turn you could do that. Synchronized handling has a single charge. Before you engage, you could spend that charge to gain a calculate token. That's pretty cool. After you fully execute a turn, bank, or Signor's loop maneuver, recover your charge. So very
specifically
similar.
The left ones.
Oh yeah, I guess that would be specific. Yeah, so got to go left, and that gives you your free calculates. Okay. Very cool. Love the extra action. On Dengar, especially because I haven't seen any free rerolls yet. So I assume we're taking locks and calculates there. But let's keep reading. Maybe there's more. We have another upgrade here. Starboard thrusters. 2 charges after you reveal that a left turn or Signor's loop left. You can spend a charge. If you do, decrease the difficulty of that maneuver. After you execute a white Signor's loop, gain 1 strain. So now you can clear your stress while doing the 2 and 1 turns to the left. You can even bring back that classic white sloop, but in this case gaining a strain, which Dengar loves strains. Wants people to shoot him, so very cool to see that there. And I would assume then you could still lock and calculate, right? Because it's white, so still getting your synchronized handling going. Love that. And then punishing 1 while you perform a primary attack. If the defender's in your front arc, roll 1 additional attack die. So pretty much locked in the front, but not always. You may need to rotate as a last ditch effort. But for the most part, going left and shooting out the front arc. This Dengar, what do I say? I like what he's doing. My only complaint is that it's very narrow. The scope of what he wants to do is very narrow. Go left, take target locks and calculates. So not a lot of nuance, I guess, to him. Just coming in here as a classic beat stick out there, finding enemies and shooting red dice at them. What's your guys' thoughts on this, James?
Yeah, very very classic. I love the leaning into, if you'll pardon the pun, leaning into the funny shape of the design, the asymmetric design of the ship, with the synchronized handling and the starboard thrusters. Just saying, hey, like, lean into that left turn or left sloop maneuver. It's just really cool, because this is a super unique ship, and I think you have to really embrace that, and you guys definitely nailed it on the head.
Only asymmetric dial in the game, if I'm not mistaken.
Yep.
So
because it does not have a right Signor's loop. If I'm not mistaken, they took away its right Signor's loop. It can't.
Yep.
Do
it's
that
only
anywhere.
it's only the other side, which is why we're able to like specifically call out if it does the Signor's loop, because there's only one of them.
True.
And we know it's red. That when you do a white one, because of starboard thrusters.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So it's basically got like twice a game. It has an almost better contraband cybernetics in some aspects.
Sure.
Yeah. But you take a strain from that, and you can't do, you if you're already stressed, you could do actions like contraband normally with it.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, like we wanted to find ways to give Dengar more than one action without giving him just like, blah, here's rerolls, right? Like just like everything else is. Take a focus, have rerolls from R5P8. So the interplay of like, if you do the moves the ship likes to do, then it's going to reward you for getting a free calculate like every turn.
Yeah.
Also, in the first draft of the droid, we called him R2H8 for hate. So I wish that stuck, but we did G8 instead. It was hard. It was R2 hate before.
That's pretty funny.
Which I do think, like I6 pinging someone to at least do damage to them and then strain them, like there is going to be another ship in your list that could take advantage of that strain almost immediately, because I6 with Dengar.
It could be you in a one-on-one situation.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
You shoot a ship, hit it, and strain them, and okay, your turn to shoot me back.
I'll do it again.
And they're like, they might be like, I'm good, actually.
Honestly, we do it again?
Vice versa. If they shoot you, you attack them, and then you give them the strain, and then you shoot them with your regular activation.
Yeah, either way. But that's only every other turn, so not as powerful as an effect as everything else. But
we went back and forth on if we wanted 2 charges ever or every other turn. We wanted to potentially allow it to happen more than twice a game. We didn't want to be able to do it all in the same turn, like 2 in a row.
Yeah,
like,
not twice a turn. Yeah.
Nope, we didn't want that. Nope.
That's
this
awesome.
Dengar is 6 points. The same as custom.
Right. Very, very cool. I liked your note about not just giving them free rerolls. Has to take lock actions if they need rerolls. Because, if you're just flying around only taking a calculate, It's not going to be enough. So, though focus and calculate for defense would be pretty nice, even if you're not modding your
Yeah.
offense there. So,
Yeah,
overall,
I
very
mean,
good.
obviously, there's other ways in many lists to support by coordinating. But yeah, with Dengar having the ability to lock at I6 means he has a lot of information about who his targets are going to be. So he can really decide how offensive or defensive he wants to be. Focus with a calc or whether it's a lock with a calc.
Yeah, and as well, I had to double check it myself. The calculates a token, which opens you up to barrel roll as well. Do some arc dodging.
Yep.
Yep.
Then what? Hard one back in behind them. Then using your starboard thrusters to make it white and clear the stress from the barrel roll.
Yeah.
And the
I'm seeing
old
it.
hard one blues and white signals lose.
Oof.
Only 1.0 people remember those.
Oof. Yeah. Luckily, it's limited. The very limited white loops. Because I used to just all the sloop was the only thing on style. Very cool. A return of some theme here, and an exciting new way to play Dengar. Who's our next pilot here? I think it's Fen Rao, if I'm not mistaken.
And
We haven't
Rao is our
seen
last one.
Okay. Take it away then, Ryan.
It's got Fen Rao retaining his I6 Fang Fighter. This is a 6-point Fen Rao. Custom is currently 5 with 3 loadout. This one has a few more things going on for it. So it's normal 3-die attack front, 3 agility. This is 5 hull, not 4 hulls. This is a hull upgrade built in Fen Rao Fang Fighter. Normal pilot ability. The adding dice at range 1 while you defend or perform an attack. The normal Concordia face-off. The normal action bar. Some of the upgrades on here, the ones you know, we have Fearless, so great modification on offense when getting in tight. And then Beskar Reinforced Plating, so taking advantage of that hull. Although some people are like, oh god, the hull, it's even better with Beskar Reinforced. Like, shield would be even better, and we didn't want to do that.
Of course.
So our new upgrade on here is the adaptable power systems. This is a little bit of inspiration from the Squadrons video game. It's a 2-charge, only 2 charges in total. After you fully execute a red maneuver or perform a red action, you may spend 1 charge. If you do, you may gain a deplete token to remove a stress token. Cool. So reduce your attack power, opening up your dial next turn. Sounds solid. Especially after you fully execute a red or perform a red action. So at I6, you have a lot of decision points. Is when there's more information of when you wanted to do that. And obviously, Fenrir rarely does red moves. When he can do a red move to get back in the fight, he can still do actions after it with this. And the other paragraph, as the second part of it, is before you engage, you may spend a charge. If you do, you may gain a strain token to remove a deplete token. So, assuming you have your deplete token from the adaptable power systems, you can shunt your power from caring about your away from your defense because, you know what, I really want to shoot with all my dice this turn. So I'm going to take a strain instead of a deplete. So you can do that all in one turn once, or you could do the stress to deplete twice a game. Unless you somehow got a deplete without needing to use the first part of adaptable power systems. Like if you kept it from a mag pulse you got hit with in the previous turn or something like that, and you didn't clear it. But in general, we wanted to have the ability for this Fen to find a way back faster into fights and potentially actually use his red moves to turn around more often by getting rid of a stress and replacing with a deplete. So taking that offensive sacrifice that he's normally wants to contribute to for additional flexibility for likely the next turn. And if you really want to go all in, remove that deplete and take a strain when you engage. That's when you have the most information because everyone have already moved, including any I6s that move after you, so you know if you're safe or not to take the straight instead. And sometimes mathematically, because of Concordia and the fact that you're adding a die from Fenn's ability at range 1, that straight deplete might not be bad on either way. So you're shifting power from the ship to prioritize, like, I want to prioritize maneuverability. So I'm going to take my stress away and dump my power in my firepower in my guns. Or I care about my guns now, so I'm going to dump my power in my guns, or I'm going to increase my power back in my guns and dump my power into my ship's like evasiveness, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that's the squadron's game influence that we applied to this.
I never even thought about it like that, but I really like that line of thinking of like shifting the little meters of squadrons, right, to how you want to specify.
Yep.
That's very cool. I want like a whole pilot based around this. Like after you're done activating, you have to like take one of these tokens and start shifting your power into different places. I don't know how it would work out, but I think that's, like I said, a very thematic way of accomplishing that. But yeah, otherwise, I mean, it's normal Fen Rao, which is very scary.
Yeah, I mean, realistically, this is a Fen Rao we've generally seen because, like, it has an initial health. We've seen that. It has Fearless. We've seen that. It has Beskar. It has all sort of abilities. It's just the identical power systems. That's the new thing. But I think we felt that it was impactful enough because the removing the stress and now opens up his style a lot more. And I think I've seen people who have played Fen with those burnout thrusters
Correct,
that would
yeah.
take the deplete to remove the disarm and still shoot. And they're like, I would have had 5 dice. I'm still pretty happy shooting 4 if I'm at
Right.
range 1.
Hey, yeah, rolling 4 reds and no greens for the round, a valid trade off when you get that perfect slam arc dodge. So, very cool. I don't know about more friend rounds out on the board. I don't know if I should, in my own personal interest, encourage people to do that. But from what we saw in the Windy City, it looks like a lot of people are leaning towards Scum. We mentioned Sevwall, or Scum favoring friend rounds in both customizable and the standard loadouts. Sevwall running with a customizable one. I forget what Doug. Did Doug and Miguel also just run the Predator versions, or did they reach for the standard loadouts?
Doug took Custom Fen, but took Fearless. He took Dengar SL and Mandalorian SL.
Mm-hmm.
And he brought it with the Kanan Hawk. Reduce that those dice coming in at you for at least one
Sure.
turn.
Then let's see. What did
Miguel had the SL Fen with Nim, Forlom, Custom G1A, and the Mandalorian. Lots of Mandalorians. A lot of people really wanted to try the Mandalorian.
A lot of people wanted to try the Mandalorian.
Which is awesome. Like that was one of the main things we wanted to do was with the Mandalorian. We wanted to make him relatively easy to plug into Scum lists because we knew a lot of people would really want to fly him. So like having him be 4 points was a thing. Like 5 was going to be the max for any Mando we made. Like we didn't want him to be more than a fourth of your list, but ideally we wanted him to be 4 because we wanted him to be pretty easy to plug and play, still feel fun and thematic, and as many people could try him as possible.
We saw come out. A lot of excitement there for Scum. Obviously, we've seen some mentioned the success it had as well. But yeah, people have been gravitating, trying to unlock these standard loadouts, putting them in different lists, trying them out, mixing them with custom pilots to see what kind of combinations. And then, plenty of people just grab 20 points of SLs and run a thematic Dakar squad, if you will. But we are running late, so we got to wrap it up. It's been fantastic. talking the new SLs and the 312 Conquest series. I don't know who updated it, but this just in. There was also a Crumpet Conquest, which I knew about, but that was like not our time zone over the weekend, so I haven't had a chance to really break it down. But we saw actually a Separatist win it. Looks like Thomas Avila, SCX Thomas. I don't know much about that, but I'm sure Nick on the 312 podcast is going to be breaking all that down, so definitely recommend you check that out, because we want to get the word out. Nick's been doing a great job with the 312 Conquest series, highlighting the new XW8 points and these new SLs. So very fantastic to see more X-Wing, more exciting stuff to talk about X-Wing coming from the XWA. For now, though, we got to wrap it up. We'll be back here. We always record on Twitch on Mondays, so join us live. Otherwise, these hit the YouTubes right away and your audio platforms after a delay. But if you want to listen to them right away, check out the YouTube or the Twitch. We can listen to these episodes right as we record them. For now, though, check out the Patreon, patreon.com/Gold Squadron. Stay safe, stay smart. Gold Squadron out. Run the intro, or the extra. Oh, the opposite. The other one. Come on, little droid. You could do it. They're a little behind. They'll figure it out.
Thank you to ISO, Danko, Baffle, Trojan, Prophet, Shadow, Tycho, Spice, Raider, Lancer, Fallen, Row 6, 626, Chief, and J List, our Grand Admiral patrons. And all of our Gold Squadron patrons and community members, thank you for your support. Gold